Welcome to the Think About It show.
With your host Johnny from Integrity, MeterSolutions.com, and James from MeterBreakSolutions.com. And today is the first podcast for 20 Ruby seats. Make some noise for Johnny and James. Think About It show.
Happy New Year, buddy. How you been?
Thank you. Doing great. I'm really excited about 2026.
Yeah, we didn't get to do a lot the last few months. We've been so busy with other things, so we haven't got a chance to really do much podcasting.
But that's been a good thing.
That's been a good thing. It's for sure. It's a good thing. But now I figure we could get together here and talk a little bit about what we got to do over in 2025, some of the wins we can celebrate, and let's see what we're going to do for 2026.
Okay, let's do it.
What do you got? What's your first thing you think we're Meter Link Solutions? So what give me a win that you guys could celebrate this year that you did for 2025 that was an awesome win?
Well, two things come to mind. One is one of the properties that we saved literally 70-80% at least with their water. They were using hundreds of thousands of gallons. After a few months, they were under 100,000 gallons. Big win.
That's a big one.
We had a takeover in August for a local St. Pete townhome property. They've had decades of bad billing vendors. They were hesitant about joining with us because they felt like it's that same old sales pitch.
Yeah.
But after 3 months, the board's on our side. We've taken care of every request. And
we've handled this customer with gloves and with white glove, because we really wanted to be show them what we were able to do. And I guess it goes back to our original concept here is you have been and I have been very proactive with this property on engaging the tenants, or in this case, their owners, engaging, making sure that we're sending out alerts when we receive them. I mean, tell us what some of the things you caught over there. As our system got installed, you guys were able to capture some leaks for some people over there where you're not.
Yeah, one of the things we do is we receive, with Next Century being installed on this property, we receive usage alerts and come into work and say, hey, this unit is using X amount of gallons, say 12 gallons per hour for the last 24 hours. So we'll go into the system, take a look, and then we'll send an email to the unit owner saying, hey, for the past 24 hours, your unit has used 800 gallons of water. Something needs to be checked. So what we would do is at that point, it's on them.
Yeah.
As long as we're alerting them. Look, we're not waiting for the bill to show up, for them to call customer service and say, why am I getting billed for 20,000 gallons of water? We want to be ahead of the game. We want to be a partner. So we notify them. So some of the things that were spotted, slab leak.
Yeah.
I can't tell you, the owner called me so relieved to say, we had one several years ago in another part of the house, caught this one. Thank you so much. You saved us thousands of dollars. And she was practically in tears. And I was like, wow, that was a huge win.
Oh, yeah.
Another one was a running toilet, which happens a lot, but it's still, a running toilet can waste 40,000 gallons of water a month. So they called to say thank you. We know our bill's going to be a little bit higher, but it would be a ton higher if we didn't catch it.
I believe there was a lady, a couple that were filling their pool and they forgot to turn the pool water
Yeah.
off. So we caught that the line being open all night.
That was another one. It was like, oh, thanks for letting us know. So it's these usage alerts. If you're stay on top of it, and that's what we want to do at MeterLink. We want to stay on top of it. I know it's extra labor. It takes time to research. It takes time to email. But the end result is you're helping people save water, save money, save the planet.
Save the planet, that's right. You know the slogan, don't you, buddy? Well, the cool thing here, James, is that, you as Meter Link Solutions, you're doing something I believe that's very needed in this industry. Because, integrity is all about water conservation. We want to save water, save water, save water. We're trying to capture leaks every chance we get. And so carrying that type of mentality over to the billing side with you guys, it's a great fit because we're both looking for the same result, because we want to capture these things before they come a big water bill to somebody, right? The worst thing you get is, and from a customer service standpoint, is, oh, we just sent a water bill out for, $1,000 or whatever it is, a lot of usage. And then what's going to happen is that customer's going to call you upset because they got this huge water bill. Well, what you're doing with using our system is catching those things before they come big. So you're notifying the tenant ahead of time or the owner and saying, hey, we're noticing something irregular here and you might want to check it out. And so they're checking it out, getting it resolved before it becomes a bigger issue and a huge water bill. And I think that's key and pivotal to our message and key and pivotal what people want to see out there. Like they're used to just getting a water bill. They're not used to getting somebody calling them and saying, hey, I think your usage might be out of whack. You might want to check to make sure something isn't going on. And you've been doing that and the results are showing.
Well, we had somebody that the equipment had to be repaired, And as a result, they got back billed a lot of water. And I can understand they're really upset, but explaining facts over feelings, this is the money that you owed. If you take a look at the actual meter read, which we provided a picture, this is the actual water that went through your meter. I'm sorry about the repair that had to happen, but it had to happen. But anyway, went the extra mile and said, look, next month's bill, based upon the usage since the repair, is showing this. So I wanted to give them peace of mind about their next bill to say, look, this bill was huge. It was a big catch-up bill. But next month, your bill is going to be this. And so far, your usage for the following month is tracking this. I wanted to give them peace of mind about their account moving forward. Now, how many companies are going to do that?
Not many.
I mean, because I care about this stuff. If I was a homeowner and this happened to me, I'd want it. What's my future bills going to look like? Somebody took the time to email and say, this is what your bills are going to look like moving forward.
Yeah.
Not only that, instructed the billing department to not assess late fees for a few months. Give them a chance to make up that bill.
Makes sense.
It's not worth the late fees to have aggravation. I'm sorry. Don't want to be a part of a company that just wants to tag on the late fees and say, well, you have an outstanding balance. I'm sorry, what happened to your unit?
Well, and I think even more so today, I mean, budgets are important for people. I mean, with the cost of living going up and everything that we have around us, so every dollar matters. And you're dealing with some people that are on extreme budgets that, can't even, a $10 increase is a big deal to them. So anytime you can make a customer happy by just either waiving a late fee or doing something like I see a lot of things you do. I come in, I'll walk in the office and see you over there working, talking to somebody. In fact, we'll talk about this for a second because James and I had entertained another property with an HOA board member that she was pretty hard-nosed. Like, she was pretty firm about, this is going to be like this, it's got to be like this, and she hadn't had very good experiences with prior people. Fast forward, well, we have a customer calling in because they had a high bill. This is a manual read property, so we can't even really do proactiveness on this, unfortunately, until they get into an AMI system or AMR system. But she loved the way that you handle the customer and you explained everything in detail, explained that, we can't be held accountable for what the previous vendor does because they don't know how they were building. We don't know what they were doing. Right. In fact, I think we found out they probably were estimating based on what we found. But we don't really know. We don't know. We can't verify what they did. We can only do what we do. We know what the rates are. We know what the usage is based on what the reads are. And this is what we bill. I mean, it's kind of cut and dry. But the fact of the way you handle that customer, they felt at the end, I think they were over-explained, honestly. You gave so much information that they really can't counteract anything. You pretty much bullet pulled every step of the way of what they possibly could answer. You already had the answers there right for them. So it really had, like, they couldn't answer or couldn't give any more questions because everything's answered. And I noticed the HOA board member responded, like, they're very impressed with your response and how you handle that customer. So these are the things that we do here regularly that we try to be different from our competitors. By being responsive, by being proactive with people, with the leak alerts and things like that, treating people the way you want to be treated. I think that's really key, right? Like, you want to be treated with respect and dignity. Treat your customers with the same respect and dignity, and you'll go a long way.
Well, the way I think about it too is just look. I'm a homeowner. I've got to pay the electric bill every month, and you got the water bills. And if you're calling into customer service, you want somebody to really care about your account, not just treat you like a number. Mm-hmm. And I think, unfortunately, that's just the way it is today. And I don't like that. I don't like that at all. I was brought up old school. Somebody has a need. If you can meet that need, meet it.
Yeah.
And with the HOA president that called me, she was like, that was one of the best responses I've ever had. And she honestly said that. I read it 3 times. Yeah. That was beautiful. Yeah. So then she gives me the name of another person that could be difficult. So I sent her an email on Friday, and I even went into more detail. And I came into work this morning, no response. So I'm thinking, okay, well, she got all the information. She probably doesn't. There's really nothing else you can refute, because all the information was provided.
Yeah. All
the detail, even the backstory behind it. So it's like, I know I wrote a book, but what I try to do is try to offset continual rebuttals.
Yep.
Because all that does is aggravate people. It wastes a lot of people's time. Don't want to do that. But the fact that board members, HOA presidents are complimenting us and saying your customer service, the way you respond, we send somebody your way, you don't get upset, you take care of them, you educate people. And I said, well, that's great. And all of that is going to be word of mouth moving forward. That's how we're going to continue to grow because of that.
Yeah, and because of that, we've have several other opportunities that have come on our door that we're taking advantage of because of the work we did in 2025. And we just want to share a few of the wins that we had on this relatable things. There's a few other things we want to talk about as well. I thought the launch of the podcast was a win for us, right?
Yeah.
We didn't have anything like that going on before, so we actually launched this podcast last year. We've gotten, I don't know how many, 10 or 15 episodes maybe up there. I can't remember. But I think that was a huge accomplishment that we started with nothing. And then we walked in and, here we are. We have a podcast that we're shooting with. We're doing all kinds of things with. We've gotten to travel to Vegas with that. Like we got to go
that was fun.
We got to go to the top of the stratosphere and do our podcast.
That was great.
And interviewed, I don't know, 8 or 10 people or something like that, and talked to a bunch of people over in Vegas. So I thought that was a huge win. Like everybody.
We got to meet our rep Ian from Muni Billing.
Correct. And Muni Billing was the other thing I had on my list of. We got our partnership with our Muni Billing, which is our utility software company that helps us.
Shout out to Ian.
Shout out to Ian and all the other people over there at the Muni Building. We thank you for your
yes,
your
very
support
much,
and all the work you do on the back end to help us be the best that we can be. So we want to thank all our partners out there that do help us with that. Another win that Integrity gets to bring on this year is we brought in 4 new manufacturers starting in 2026 that we're bringing online. So we're excited about that. Some different products that we're going to be selling and showing that are not necessarily AMR stuff, but it's actually mechanical devices that you can use as a one-time thing. So be looking for those types of things. So that's another win for us that we have other vendors, other manufacturers that we're bringing on board that I feel that we can broaden out our horizons with other customers. So I'm pretty excited about that. MeterLink, I mean, you guys got a lot of things going on this year that I see that I'm excited about.
Well, we've had, the thing is that you're not guaranteed to sign every person that contacts you. But the important thing is that for me, I've had 30, 40-minute conversations with various folks. How does this work? How does the system work? How does your billing work? So I don't mind educating them. If they choose somebody else, because honestly, they can come in cheaper. That's fine. If you want to go that route, they can go that route, but they'll find out that they're not going to get the customer service that we provide.
Yeah.
But I don't mind giving people education on how this works. And I know one's coming into mind. I can't say the property, but they may choose somebody else because the board wants to go with costs. And there's always a sacrifice every time. You want to go bottom level.
Let's talk about that for a second. This happens often, and people are sometimes asphyxiated with the bottom line price, and that's fine. I understand your money's tight, and you got to save money where you can, but not all systems are created equal, and not all installers are created equal. Just because they're selling you a cheaper price doesn't mean you're getting the best system or the best application system for what you're trying to do. So keep that in mind when you're pricing people out. Are you getting apples for apple comparison? Are they selling you something different than the other person? What is the difference between those and why you would want to choose one over the other? I'm just here to provide you with a quote and with the best possible equipment that we feel like will work in your application. But sometimes it might be higher, sometimes it might be lower, it just depends. But as the installers you're using, are they certified? Are they subcontractors? Do they work for the company? All these questions you should be asking to make sure you're getting that type of, make sure you're making the best decision you know how. And if you don't ask those questions, you may be buying something that really isn't as good as you should have gotten because you didn't really do the homework maybe or didn't have the information to, look at all that. So,
yeah, well, here's something important too that other people can consider. Salespeople can promise the world.
Oh yeah.
And from experience, I've seen it where we start billing a property 2-3 months later, they're calling going, well, this wasn't provided, this wasn't provided, this wasn't provided. I'm like, well, I wasn't the sales guy. I'm the account manager that gets the contract and starts setting things up to move forward.
Yeah.
Okay. You can actually put in a billing contract that we want specific reports. Now, the property we took over in St. Petersburg was sending them some specific reports. And the HOA president came back and said, we've never, ever received this type of information from a billing vendor. He goes, it would take us months to figure it out after the fact.
You're chasing a ghost, basically.
I'm just like, wow. And to me, it was like just a simple heads up.
Yeah, yeah.
I was sitting there thinking, going, they need a heads up on this.
It goes back to the same thing we talked about, James, being different than our competitors. What are we doing differently? Well, that's one of them. Providing you with detailed reports pretty much regularly, all the time. Getting them when you need them. We not wait until after the billing cycle has been done or months past. Oh, here's a report from May when we're in September, right?
Well, even the hard part, sending a report advising the board, here's some people that haven't paid in 6 months or never paid.
Yeah.
So it's like, look, do you want them to have free water? Tell me, and I can just take their account away.
Yeah, because you know, some of these companies, all they care about is just collecting their fees, right? They're not really.
I'm not about that.
They're not trying to do anything other than just collect the billing fee. I mean, they'll do the billing, but they don't really go above and beyond that. They just, here's the billing, give us our money, and we're good. Like, they don't want to tell you what you just said, that, well, so-and-so hasn't paid their bill since we've started this billing process, or they haven't paid in 6 months, or whatever the case may be. Like, I'm pretty sure those HOA board members and the presidents would want to know those type of things so they can go after those people.
Well, here's another point, because I've been in this industry over 21 years. Running a customer service department is very stressful. And you lose team members, you lose your staff when they're constantly taking a chewing out over bills.
Yeah.
Whether estimated, high usage, incorrect billing, not being upfront about an estimated unit or a failure in the unit. And if you're transparent, you say, look, here's the issue. You put it back on the property. You know, you say, look, these units need repair. If you're going to repair it, great. If not, you're going to run into problems, okay? But by alerting unit owners and alerting property staff of issues ahead of time, I can tell you, we're not facing the flack of angry people calling and chewing us out. I get the reports. Mm-hmm. So it's good. It's the fact that we're notifying people ahead of time, notifying the property managers, notifying the board. They're all informed. If this way, if they have their board meeting and somebody stands up and starts yelling and screaming, they'll know what information they already have. So they won't get caught off guard.
Yeah, they already have it.
Exactly, because the worst feeling in the world is picking up the phone and you got a board member chewing you out because we didn't let them know what was going on because Mr. and Mrs. X showed up to the board meeting with a billing issue and they let it fester for 2, 3, 4 months.
Yep. That's what goes back to being the proactive part, bud, and that's what I feel like our niches is. We've seen the results from what we're doing. Now it's just a matter of doing it across the board, and I feel like that's where we're headed. And the results that we got from 2025 with doing this has been, I mean, it's been a no-brainer. Like, we just get so much positive response all the time from that type of thing. So obviously that works, Jason. I want to call you Jason today. James.
I got to change my name.
Yeah, Jays. Too many Jays
Just
around
call me
here.
Jay.
Yeah, too many Jays around here.
Yeah, I'm really excited for 2026. I think that one of the keys for us is obtaining properties that have been upset with current vendors, equipment. They were sold shoddy equipment or it didn't last too long. And it's like, bring us those properties. We want to fix them. And I've always up front with these folks to tell them, look, a new billing vendor, whether it's us or somebody else, the new billing vendor will inherit the past sins of the other company, whether it's internal or external. And a lot of unit owners, as an example for an HOA property, are probably not aware that, why did we switch companies again? I don't understand this. They don't see some of the issues that the board, the property manager, and the HOA president see. Yeah. So they naturally say, oh, they're just wired up and they want to switch companies. It's a lot of work to switch a company. It's a lot of work to do a transition and a takeover. But after, and I always tell them, it takes 3 months. 3 months to get things settled down, from people getting used to paying the new vendor, solving problems with their water, okay, and getting used to having reports sent to them regularly so that they can say, hey, these guys are on top of it. Because after 3 months, then you start to see consumption drop. And then, like, these board presidents, they're starting to get a good feeling now of like, wow, okay, we're getting information. We don't have to ask for it. And if there's any problems or issues, they're notifying us ahead of time because we're being transparent. And it's not always easy to tell people that, hey, we had to replace a transceiver and this property unit is going to be back billed for 10, 15,000 gallons. But the water did go through the meter. Here's the picture, shows the proof. Their bill is going to be roughly X. But to help them, we'll give them a couple of months of grace, no late fees, so they can catch up, because after all, we're all consumers.
Yep. Yeah, it's pretty cool, man. I've seen a lot of things this last year that I'm very happy and proud that we've done. And I'm excited to see what 2026 has to offer. And, I just did a property actually just last week, and quick story and we'll get off here, but smaller property, but they're big penthouses kind of thing. And The two ladies that I met, both of them were, one was a board president, one was other one was a board. And so I was talking to the property management guy, and I forget his name, but anyway, he was talking about this and that. And we were installing the new system, and I told him, listen, I don't promise on the system, but if you don't use our company to monitor it, you're not going to get the same results as if we're doing it, right?
Right.
I can't promise you they're going to use our system the way we use it. Like you can have the best system on the planet, but it's only as good as the team that uses it, right? So after talking to those two ladies, and the property manager had said, no, I don't think we're going to switch in the building. We're going to keep with who we are. And I told those board members what he had told me. She was, oh, no. We're switching. We're switching. We don't like our current building company. They're not very, very good. And we like you as what you're doing. And we feel comfortable switching over to you. So I think we just keep doing what we're doing. Proof's in the pudding, as I like to say. I mean, we've had great response from the people we've dealt with, and great rapport from all the people we've been dealing with. Like, we've been building a relationship with these people, and they're loving it, and they're not used to it either. Like, there's so many comments we've gotten from either the presidents or some of the tenants that never experienced anybody like this or anything like this, because people being proactive with leaks and calling tenants, hey, we think you might have some issue. Like, they're not used to that.
Well, I'll say this too, that's very important, is there's teamwork at MeterLink. There's teamwork at Integrity. Like, as an example, it's a common thing. No billing company is perfect. And when there's an issue, there's no blame game. It's, okay, what happened? What can we do to fix it? Let's move forward. And, and I'm the guy, as a senior account manager, that's got to call the property and say, this is what happened.
Yep.
But here's the fix. And notifying customer service, so they're always in the loop. And then it's like, look, like I said, no company's perfect, but if you can fix the problem and address it quickly, studies shown that folks are more prone to stay with that company because, yes, a problem was done. We're all human. Mistakes are making. But you can fix it and you can move forward.
Correct. I think it's owning up to it is instead of hiding it.
And that's air conditioning companies, mechanics, okay? Even doctors can misdiagnose stuff, which we all know happens. But if people are willing to fix a problem and move forward, I'm more prone to stay with it. Stay with that company because, look, they're problem solvers. Okay, they're getting the job done, and a technician can make a mistake. A technician manual read can misread a meter.
Absolutely.
So it's like, it's just for some reason maybe the meter head's a little more cloudy than it was. But as I've told folks, look, if you see that problem, send me a picture of the meter head, and I'll get with the billing department and we'll correct it. No big deal. Yeah. And if you've been overcharged, we'll get it corrected. And guess what? We won't charge you a late fee if it's right at the verge of your invoice due date. It's not worth charging a late fee to add more aggravation. We're not about making that kind of money. That's not what it's about.
Yeah, I hear you.
You're talking about being fair. You're talking about showing empathy, but also understanding, because each account's a little bit different. You have people that have lost husbands, wives. You have people in the hospital, family members. It's not that big a deal.
Yeah,
I mean, to tag a late fee on for situations like that, you gotta show some compassion. You'd want that on your end.
Oh, for sure. No, and that's why I think I agree with what we're doing, and I believe in what we're doing, because we're showing it. It proves, like I said, it proves what we're doing. We see too many people calling them back in and saying, "Hey, we never had anything like this, and we're loving it." So we just keep doing what we're doing, James, and we're going to be just fine. So, guys, we thank you for joining in. Welcome to our Happy New Year from 2026 to you guys. We'll be back here again pretty soon. I don't know what we're going to talk about next, James, because we haven't been on here a while. We got to program. We got to talk about what we're going to be doing next and what we're going to talk about next.
Well, my goal was to try to grow hair, but I don't know if that's going to happen this year.
Yeah, I think you and I are both in the same struggle with the hair problem. But it's okay, somebody's got to be bald. It might as well be you and me, right?
Yeah, I signaled the troops. Bend over.
Again, thanks for joining us. And always remember, save money, save water,
save the planet.
the planet.